Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks has arrived. Once a young, promising prospect on the rise, sitting behind John Collins, he has now stepped into his superstar form. This season, Jalen Johnson has elevated his game to an entirely new level, leaving no doubt that he deserves to be in the all-star conversation. But the real question is, why is he flying under the radar thus far? There are some people around the league, fans alike, that understand his growth as a player and understand how good he is. He's not really getting that national attention like other players are, that he either is matching or has a greater statistical output. Now, last year, I did do a video on him about him being one of those potential up-and-coming superstars in the coming years, so it feels even better to see him reaching that superstar form quicker than even I thought. Before we fully dive into this one, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're a returning viewer, I appreciate you watching as always. Make sure you drop down below who your favorite player is right now in the NBA and who you think deserves the most improved award. And with that out of the way, let's hop into the video. Last season, Jalen Johnson showed flashes of brilliance. Under Coach Quinn Snyder's new system, he thrived as a versatile forward that could shoot, play above the rim, and even facilitate for the team along with Trae Young. He's become one of the Hawks' better point of attack defenders, and while his injury in late November last year did slow his momentum down, it also highlighted just how valuable he was to the Hawks. Without him, the Hawks struggled completely, especially on the defensive end, proving he was one of the team's most irreplaceable players after Trae Young. This was apparent last year by the team's defensive rating being 122.3 without Jalen Johnson and 119 when he was on the floor. By the end of last season, Jalen had cemented himself as a vital piece of the Hawks rotation, and his potential was evident, but this year, he's even shattered the loftiest of expectations, especially with his growth on the offensive end as a facilitator, playmaker, and just an overall scorer. If we look at this play against the Wizards in NBA Cup play, he catches the ball about free throw line extended, allows the action to work itself through for DeAndre Hunter, and he hits DeAndre Hunter with a nice slight overhead pass as he's cutting to the lane for the easy layup behind the defense. Normally, when we talk about a player whose playmaking and facilitating is growing, it's normally by way of seeing passing windows a lot better, but Jalen Johnson is making passes like this very regularly. In one of his better games of the season, playing the Celtics, also again in NBA Cup play where he had a triple-double, he makes another phenomenal pass to Big O, cutting to the basket, allowing him to get a nice finish at the rim over two smaller guys. We could take another play in the same game where he gets a high screen from Capella. Capella immediately realizes that the defense is just too high, so he can slip the screen. And as he dives, Jalen Johnson realizes that all the passing lanes for a bounce pass just aren't there. He lobs it over the top for Capella, and he gets an easy finish over Jaylen Brown. Even further, he's sharpening his tools in areas where he was already elite, such as being able to find the open spot in the defense, cut at the right time, and be able to finish over the top of defenders like he has done throughout his whole career. We could take another play from the Celtics where we see Dyson Daniels begins to fumble the ball, and as he does this, Jaylen Brown takes one slight step over, seemingly about to come help and or steal the ball. Jalen Johnson recognizes this, and as soon as he takes that step towards Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson jets backdoor for the easy flush. He's also gotten a lot better with the ball, being the play initiator at times, even getting ISOs like here where we see them go into a 1-4 flat. He takes Jaylen Brown off of the dribble, and even when he seemingly gets stuck with nowhere to go, he's patient, gets Jaylen Brown to back up a little bit, and can get the easy floater over him. Plays like that are how you easily get to 25, 30 plus points per game because you're getting those easy looks at the rim. And most specifically with his 6'9" frame, bounce out of the gym that Jalen Johnson has, he can finish over virtually anybody in the NBA. This patience he's developed has permeated all throughout his game, where we even see him in the transition, getting out on the break after a quick bucket from Josh Giddey. And normally in this instance, we would see him try to finish, but on the backside, he notices Clint Capella has his man sealed, Vooch steps up to stop Jalen Johnson, and of course you just throw it high with Capella, who has the smaller Kobe White guarding him, and it's an easy flush for 2. Plays like this highlight his amazing growth as a player, playmaker, and being able to find the patience to know you can get a bucket even in a quick change instance like this. One of my more favorite parts of his game that I'd like to see him develop this far is the fact that he's become a very good ISO player, and Quinn Snyder has recognized this and called plays for him, and he's answered the call. Now it's clear that the NBA hasn't quite taken notice to how good he truly is, because in plays like this against the Wizards, you can see before the play even begins, when he's ISO'd, a lot of the defenders are closer to their opposition. For context, when we see Ant in a position like this, obviously Jalen Johnson is an Ant, but people are closer, the defense is much more collapsed, and of course all eyes are on him. Now regardless of the looser coverage, Jalen Johnson takes advantage, gets a 1 dribble drive, and finishes with a nice up and over Jonas Valanciunas, who is a pretty good rim protector in this league. Through the first quarter of the season, Jalen Johnson is averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. Those numbers put him ahead of players like Zion, Jimmy Butler, Tyrese Halliburton, and Scotty Barnes, and he's doing it with elite efficiency, shooting 62, 41, and 80% respectively. His shooting this year has been remarkable, with a true shooting percentage of over 66%, ranking him among the league's most efficient scorers, and even more, he's shooting 41% on his threes on increased volume, elite from last year's 28.8%, which was abysmal. He's shooting very well off the catch, showing that he's ready to shoot with his hands up, and he's even cashing out on shots where he's creating for himself behind the arc as well. On the opposite end of the floor, Jalen is even more impressive sometimes. He's averaging 1.2 steals and 1.3 blocks per game, ranking him in the 85th percentile for both metrics among forwards. And his switchability and rim protection have transformed the Hawks defense immensely. Jalen's ability to guard multiple positions, disrupt passing lanes, it's all been crucial for Atlanta, but even further, he's one of those players where you can switch everything, making it that much easier for the Hawks. Despite Jalen's incredible production and growth over leagues past, he remains one of the most underrated players in the league. His stats compare favorable to established stars, yet he's still not getting the recognition he deserves. Obviously, this video is trying to get the message out there that it's time for the league to take notice. Jalen Johnson deserves to be an all-star, not just for his numbers, but for the impact he's had on the Hawks this season. Without him, arguably, Atlanta would not be where they are, and they would for sure struggle on both ends of the floor. Jalen Johnson adds an element to where Trae Young doesn't have to be Superman night in and night out. And I know it's very early in the year, but I think Jalen Johnson is and should remain the front runner for the most improved award. I'm not gonna lie, I lost a bit of confidence in the award in cases like Ja Morant winning, despite being a top 5 pick whose growth it's expected. There's no reason for him to win most improved, but you know, that's another conversation for another day. The main point is players like Jalen, who genuinely make leaps from role players to potential superstars, they deserve more recognition, and that should be their award. Him winning it would only improve the view of that award from people like me and other fans like me. Above all else, Jalen Johnson is no longer just a promising young player. He's a superstar in the making, if not a superstar at this point, and it's time for the league and its fans to continue to give him the respect he's earned and deserves. From his scoring to his playmaking to his elite defensive prowess, Jalen has been nothing short of phenomenal. Now, if this season is any indication, the sky's the limit for what he can achieve. If the Hawks are able to get another star in Atlanta, I genuinely think that they will be just a couple pieces away from being a title contender, starred by Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. Hopefully, Zachary Ricochet turns into that star and they have their big three as it stands currently, but only time will be able to tell. At this point though, I want to know what you think. Do you feel like Jalen Johnson is a superstar? And even further, do you think that if the Atlanta Hawks either get a star or Zachary Ricochet turns into the star that they hope he is, they can actually be a force in the Eastern Conference? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, again, make sure you like and subscribe. It's free and easy. It takes 2 seconds, and that'll be it from your boy TB from this one. As always, I appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.